Well, the birds are singing, the frogs are out, and that can only mean one thing. Welcome to spring. Finally, the first week of spring is here. Thank you all for joining me today, but a special thank you to all of you guys who have stuck with me throughout the entire winter. A lot has been going on. In the last video, we had the post up for the new family food garden, and since that time, the weather has not been cooperating, but today is gorgeous. This is my new blueprint, my new outline. It's going to require some explanation, but I wanted to show you guys the progress that I've made over the last couple of days. And as I said before, things are looking a lot different. It makes me feel good when I see something in my mind and I can actually create it and bring it out. Now, this fence I put up by myself the other day. It still needs some tweaking. I didn't secure the bottoms yet, but I am very happy with how this has turned out. And for those of you who do not know me, I'm the frugal gardener. I garden in the hills of West Virginia in zone 7A, and I am in the process of building my dream garden. This garden is 12 feet wide and a whopping 40 feet long, which is almost half the size, half court to your basketball court. So this is the entrance. This is my current project. This is going to have to be worked on. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to put steps in here or whether I'm going to just put gravel in here. I have a dilemma. I'm looking at this backwards. This is what I have to make a decision on soon. I have two archways. This is my arch. This is roughly about 8 feet. And I got this one originally, and then I saw this one. They were both on sale. I can still use them both, but I have to decide which one I'm going to use where. So once I make that decision, this arch is going to go up over here. That's going to be the entrance. So when you walk in, these sticks here, like I said, this requires some explanation. These are temporary markers. I'm going to have to bring my measuring tape out. This is going to be 3 feet from the fence over all the way this way, and 3 feet, same thing, from the fence over all the way down that way. This is going to be my melons for the most part. They're going to be honeydew, cantaloupe, watermelon, and I'm also going to do squash. For the first time, I'm going to do banana squash, I'm going to do summer squash, and I'm going to do winter squash. Back here, I'm going to bring my blueberry plants out, and this is where they're going to live, back this way. Across this way, it's also going to be 3 feet out, all the way down. The one thing I did not mention over here is also going to be companion plants. I'm going to add bush beans and a few other things for nitrogen, and that is going to help A, give me more food, which is the goal, and B, it's going to help the soil and possibly even keep some of the bugs out. The other thing you might have noticed is this drip hose. This is the old drip hose. It does have some damage down the other end, but it is long enough to suit my purpose. Now behind me, it's a similar situation. as I said, 3 feet out from the fence, all the way down 40 feet. And here is my new second drip hose. These drip hoses are going to connect to this trough here. Excuse me. This trough holds approximately 170 gallons. So that can either go underneath or over top, because this particular drip hose is 50 feet. And since my garden's length is only 40 feet, that gives me an extra 10 feet, which I don't really need. I need about 3 feet, but about 10 feet to get to that hose, and either over and down here, which is going to save me a lot of work and a lot of walking. So what's going to go over here? Well, sorghum, which is a sweetener. They used this thousands of years ago in Africa. They're using it a lot now in cereals and in different foods here in the US. I'm also going to try my hand again at corn, which I hadn't done for a long time. The frugal son-in-law and I have been struggling with our corn, so I'm hoping that this will help. I'm also going to do a process this year called the 3 Sisters, which is something I'm going to go into in more detail down the road, where I'm going to plant 3 other crops, which is going to wrap around the corn and the sorghum. And I'm also going to put a couple of sunflowers down here. I've been leery about using the sunflowers because even though they do attract the bees, which is something I'm going to go into in a minute, which I really need, which is really lacking on this homestead, they're also tall enough to attract the deer. Now, speaking of deer, this corn, I was concerned when I planted this. I said to you in the previous video, everything that I'm doing here is intentional. Everything here has a purpose. Everything here is for a reason. Even the fact that this fence is only 4 feet high, that's for a reason. And you'll see as I progress that I am going to add some more material, some netting up at certain parts of here. I did a little survey, and I may not need to put more netting over here because the deer don't have a lot of room to get behind here and to jump over. But they can get in from this way. So I'm probably going to put the netting up here, and I'm probably going to put the netting over here. So at the ends, I'm not too concerned about this because, well, they can get up here, but this is on a slope. So they would have to run and jump higher than the actual 5 feet, which this is right now. So the corn that I'm going to be using is, I think it's Batum. I forgot the exact name of it. It's only corn that grows 6 feet high. Now, you've seen corn in cornfields where corn is like 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet. I don't want 12 feet high corn because A, again, that's making it easier for the deer, and B, I don't want it to shade out everything over here. You can see where the sun is right now. I mentioned earlier in the previous video that I have a neighbor, and I want him to cut some of this back so I can get more sun in here. But I am happy with the sun that I'm seeing right now, because if you go back here, there is plenty of sun. It's not that strong, but then again, it's only March. So this is going to be stronger, and it's going to be longer because the days are getting longer now that we've had the spring equinox. So that corn is going to go all the way down here. I'm not going to mix it because the corn needs to be next to corn, and the sorghum can stand alone. I have room that I can put something else in here, Once I get this structure in place, then I'm going to have to dig all this up. And once I dig this up, I'm going to have to add nutrients to it. This is clay soil. I hate it. But then I'm going to add new soil to that. And I'm going to make use of this. I think if you know me, you know this is going to get used. So 3 feet, 3 feet. Now down the center here, straight down the center, 2 feet is where I'm going to put my pots. I just put a few up so that I can show you guys what's going to happen here. I am never going to completely get rid of my pots. I mean, I paid for them. They're useful, and I have things in them already. So let's start from the back. This is kind of my work area. This is the reason why it looks kind of a mess. So this is the apple tree, which is eventually going to go into the ground. It's already starting to show some signs of life. This is new, not new to me, but new to my plan, which is my watering system. You can see the spout down here. It's a little bit dirty. I have to clean that up. And I will fill that up from water that I get from the other side of the property. Why do I need that if I have the drip hose? Well, the drip hose is only going to cover the sides. This, I will still be watering by hand. So I'm guessing I'm probably going to have about 20 pots when all is said and done. And those I will be watering by hand. This is 2 feet across. These are my paths. This is 2 feet. This is 2 feet. So these sticks are just basically a guidepost for me to give you guys an idea of of the way this is going to go. So melons over here, 3 feet, 2 feet walkway, 2 feet for the pots, 2 feet walkway, and this is going to be the corn, and also the sorghum and some sunflowers. So that's the basic layout. I'm going to give you more details later on because, like I said, this is a process. I still have to secure this fence. And when I get down to this end, like I told you earlier, that's going to be blueberries down there. That's going to be permanent. This tree is going to be permanent. And I wanted to show you the actual seeds, but I brought the wrong container out. I have the container. It's this, well, it's another coffee container that has the seeds that I'm actually going to use. And for those of you who are on a strict budget and you want hummingbird feeders, I picked this up for $3 at Dollar General the other day. It's not very sturdy. It's probably only going to last you for one summer, but it's better than nothing. So, like I said, this is going to go into the ground. This, you may or may not recognize. This is my compost bin, which is obviously not in use right now because, as I complained to you guys over and over again, we have severe windstorms up here. So what has happened is I had 3 different storms. I kept putting this thing back up, and the storm kept knocking it over, even when I had heavy wooden pieces on top. So I brought this up the other day. I'm going to bring the logs up so that I can put this back up on the stand. I'm going to put this back together. I'm going to bring up the compost that's laying on the ground over there. Bring that over, set this up, and the next time we have a storm, the fence is here, so this isn't going to go anywhere. We never, ever, ever get the wind that comes from this way to this way. It's always this way or this way. So that should solve that problem. And it also should solve the problem of the deer, the raccoons, the rabbits, anything that comes up here. I guess the squirrel can probably still get in here, but I don't think the squirrel's going to be able to get the top off. So I got compost here. I got water here. I have an apple tree here. I have the pots down the center. I had the blueberries at the end. I already explained to you guys what's on this side and what's on that side. And the next time you see this area, I will have made my decision and put this thing together. This is just a little diagram which shows you how this works. I originally favored this one, and it's probably because they put some thought into the packaging. These guys kind of figure like, well, we got your money, so whatever, you know, either you like it or you don't. But after looking into it a little more, this actually seems like the better choice. Like I said, I haven't quite decided yet, but you have two ways you can go with this. You can go with the high arch or the low arch. The high arch, you have less of an opening. The low arch, which is the one I'm favoring, you have more of an opening, but it's only about 6.5, 7 feet, which is fine because I'm only 6 feet. Like I said, this is going to have to be decided. The other thing is I want to do wood chips underneath the melons. It's not just for aesthetics. I want to do wood chips because they will hold in the moisture and they will keep out the harsh sun, but not on the other side, just on this side. If I cannot get wood chips, I am talking to a guy again. Wait for him to get back to me. I don't know what the deal is, but I haven't heard from him. But if I can get the wood chips, I will use the wood chips. If not, I will use straw, which is the same straw that I get from Tractor Supply for my chickens. And it will serve the same purpose, except for the straw is, it's my second choice. The wood chips, I think, do a better job of holding in the moisture, keeping out the sun. So this is going to look very different. Eventually, depending upon my pocketbook, I'm going to put gravel up and down here as a walkway. Gravel over here is a walkway. I'm probably going to just leave this as is when it's done, so I can walk up through here, down through here. This is going to give it a different look and a decision. This is still a work in progress, so I need a workstation. I'm going to take my old workstation and I'm going to put it here, so when you walk in, I'll be right here at the workstation, and I'm going to show you, this is going to be another surprise. I'm still adding to this. This is still working, and the more I put this together, the better I feel about it, and the more ideas I come up with. So a month from now, you guys really aren't going to recognize this. And before I let you go, I have to discuss the outside. This is crucial. This is part of what motivated me to build this in the first place. Now you can get a better look at it. This is the whole 40 feet going from the trough all the way over. And this is what I mean when I say the deer will have a difficult time coming from here trying to jump the fence from this area. So that gives me some protection. Now, last year, this garden down here was successful. It was fenced in, and I had a couple hummingbird feeders and a couple other things going for me, and that's where the few bees that I got went. The rest of this was not good. So this area here outside the fence is going to be flowers, pollinators. I got a little bit overzealous. I got excited the first year out here, and I thought, well, I'm going to just plant, I'm going to plant flowers all up and down here. I'm going to have pollinators growing all up and down here. Well, that was too ambitious because number one, that means I had to water this every day, at least until the plant started coming up. And B, I would still have to water it while I was running around watering everything else. So I decided to be more strategic and just work on this area here, this 40 feet here, coming up and down here. Of course, not in here because this is going to be my entrance. But after looking at about 50 different flowers, I came up with a dozen that are supposed to be the best for pollinators. And I also came up with 3 vines that's going to grow over this arch. So the arch is not going to be on the outside. The arch is going to be on the inside because out of the vines, one of those is going to be a red trumpet vine, but the other 2 are going to be edible because I'm going to grow scarlet runner beans again this year. And I'm going to grow a Malabar spinach, which I also grew last year. That's going to grow over the vine. So that is something that I'm going to do because that's also going to attract the pollinators. The colors that I picked, the location that I picked, all this, I'm going to be very disappointed if things don't work out for me this year because of the time and effort and money that I'm putting into this. So another thing, these are all perennials. So they're all supposed to come back next year. So right now, I'm just asking you to use your imagination. I'm going to plant yarrow. That's yellow yarrow in this case. All these are drought tolerant, rabbit resistant, and deer resistant. I'm going to plant wild bergamot, pennyroyal. I mentioned the red trumpet vines already. Echinacea, that's one of the frugal daughter's favorites. Lavender, which I have all over the place. There's a lavender plant up there in that dark colored pot. And that's another thing that I will go into in a different video, which is the colors of the pots that I'm using on the inside. And 4 o'clocks, which I used to grow a long time ago. I made the mistake one year of growing morning glories. Oh my goodness. I never was able to get rid of them. And I decided that when I moved up here that I would never plant morning glories again because they spread all over the place. And like I said, you never get rid of them. So I'm also planting Russell lupine mix and spotted Joe pineweed. I separated those because those are semi-drought tolerant. Those are ones that I am going to have to keep an eye on. They're pretty, these flowers. Excuse me. The colors, the height, the flowers itself. I mean, this is when this is complete, you'll see why I made these choices. And this should bring in the bees. It should bring in the birds. It should bring in the butterflies. And all those things I'm going to need to help pollinate my new food forest. So that's where I am right now. I'm going to end this video because there's still so much to do. And don't forget, I still have over here, I'm not abandoning this, so I still have to take care of this. You can see right here, our peach tree is doing well. This is coming back. This has got to come out of this pot for sure and go into the ground. And I'm thinking next year I might get peaches off of this thing. But there's this area over here that did not do well last year. And I just kind of abandoned it. So I'm going to have to work on this because I think this may end up being my new lavender area. These are all the lavender plants, well, not all, but some of the lavender plants that I've been working on for the past couple of years. this, this was my star last year. This is where I got all those tomatoes out of. I got potatoes. I got a lot of things out of here last year. I attempted to take this pot out. I wanted to move this one and this one to the new garden, but this area is not wide enough, so I'm going to have to take this post out in order to get this out. That's a whole nother story. I just wanted to focus today on the new. You can see the size of this, which is not bad. But when you compare that to what's going on here, and like I said, this is going to have a little bit of everything because it's going to have blueberries, it's going to have grapes, it's going to have fruit, it's going to have vegetables, it's going to have pretty much everything that I'm growing is going to have an assortment, let's put it like that. Not everything, but a nice assortment, because now I have the space, finally. After years and years, I have the space to do all this. So I'm going to make this work. Like I said, it's the first week of spring. I got to get all this stuff done before it's planting time. And that's when the real work is going to begin. So thank you guys for taking this journey with me. Again, next week, I'll have another update. Hopefully the arch will be up. And I have a couple other things that I haven't shown you guys yet. I still have things coming through the mail that I'm going to add. And there's going to be a water feature. Well, 2 water features. Going to be the bird feeder. Well, 2 hummingbird feeders. I'm probably going to duplicate this side of the garden with this when it comes to the additions. But this has got to come off the ground. There's still so much that has to be done. I will hopefully post this on Mondays, because I'm starting a series on Thursdays for brand new gardeners. A lot of people with the food prices, there's a lot of new gardeners out there, and there are a lot of people out there that are, I think they're kind of misinforming people because they're saying, oh, gardening is so easy. Well, for some people it's easy, but it depends. I mean, back in my younger days, I decided to go skiing, and my bones were a lot less fragile back then, and fortunately I was able to get through it intact without breaking anything, but it wasn't for me. The fact of the matter is, gardening does not have to be difficult if you understand it, if you take it slowly, or if you have a mentor or somebody to help you. So if you guys know anybody that want to learn how to garden and you really don't have a lot of time to teach them, then I hope that you will have them tune in on my Thursday videos. That's going to be very limited. So, I don't want you guys to think that you just watch videos on Mondays from now on, because the Thursday videos for the newbies, it's only going to be for a couple of short weeks. And then I'm going to go back to my regular schedule, because I have so much growing this year. Once a week is not going to be enough. So that's it. Thanks again. Please subscribe. If you have any questions, please post them below. Please share this video. Remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. Catch you guys on the flip side. Enjoy your day. I hope you go out and grow something.